At its peak, this civilization had cities more advanced than London in the 19th century. Perfectly planned streets, underground drainage systems, standardized bricks, public baths. And yet, it vanished. No recorded wars, no burning cities, no conqueror claiming victory. Today, we call it the Indus Valley Civilization, one of the greatest civilizations in human history, and one of the most mysterious collapses the world has ever seen. This is not a story of sudden destruction. It is a story of slow disappearance. And once you hear it, you may realize something unsettling. It could happen again. More than 5,000 years ago, long before Rome, before Greece, before even the pyramids reached their final height, a civilization quietly rose along the banks of the Indus River. Stretching across what is now Pakistan and northwest India, this land was rich, fertile, and alive. Seasonal monsoon rains flooded the plains, depositing nutrient-rich soil that made agriculture possible on a massive scale. Wheat, barley, peas, and cotton. Yes, cotton. Centuries before it reached the rest of the world. This abundance allowed people to settle permanently, build towns, then cities, and then something far greater. By 2600 BCE, the Indus Valley Civilization covered an area larger than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia combined. Yet unlike other early civilizations, there was no visible king. No massive palaces. No towering monuments built to glorify rulers. Instead, what we find is something far more unusual. Order. The cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro reveal a level of urban planning that would not be matched for thousands of years. Streets were laid out in perfect grids. Homes were built from standardized bricks, each nearly identical in size. This suggests something extraordinary. A civilization united not by fear, but by shared systems, standards, and cooperation. Every home, whether large or small, was connected to an advanced drainage system. Wastewater flowed through covered channels beneath the streets, cleaned and maintained with precision. At the center of Mohenjo-daro stood the Great Bath. A massive, waterproof structure, likely used for ritual purification. Water was sacred. Cleanliness was essential. And yet, despite this sophistication, there are no grand temples, no royal tombs, no statues of gods towering over citizens. Power here did not announce itself loudly. It was quiet, functional, almost modern. The Indus Valley Civilization was not isolated. Seals found in Mesopotamia confirm trade with Sumer, nearly 2,000 kilometers away. They exported cotton, beads, pottery, and possibly grain. They imported silver, tin, and luxury goods. Their seals carried symbols and animals, along with a written script we still cannot read. That script remains undeciphered to this day. But here is the most surprising part. Despite ruling an enormous territory, there is almost no evidence of large-scale warfare. Few weapons. No mass graves. No destroyed cities. This was a civilization built on trade, order, and balance. Not conquest. And for centuries, it worked. But civilizations rarely fall suddenly. They weaken slowly, often invisibly. Around 1900 BCE, changes began to appear. Cities started shrinking. Brick quality declined. Urban planning became less precise. Then came the climate. Monsoon patterns shifted. Rainfall became unpredictable. The Indus River began changing course, abandoning cities that depended on it for survival. Agriculture suffered. Food surplus declined. Trade routes collapsed. And when trade collapses, specialization disappears. Craftsmen leave. Cities empty. Knowledge fades. There was no dramatic invasion. No final battle. Just migration, adaptation, and retreat. People did not die in mass destruction. They left. Families moved eastward towards smaller villages, simpler lives. Cities like Mohenjo-daro were abandoned, layer by layer. Drainage systems clogged. Streets filled with dust. Within centuries, a civilization that once rivaled Egypt and Mesopotamia was reduced to scattered rural settlements. Its writing forgotten. Its systems dismantled. History moved on. And the world forgot. It was not until the 1920s that archaeologists uncovered these ruins. Brick by brick, the Indus Valley Civilization returned to human memory. But many questions remain unanswered. Who governed them? How did their writing work? Why did such an advanced society leave no kings behind? Perhaps the most important question is this: did they fall, or did they choose to adapt? Their collapse was not violent. It was environmental, economic, systemic. Empires don't always fall to invaders. Sometimes, they simply outgrow the world that sustains them. The Indus Valley Civilization did not end in fire. It ended in silence. And somewhere beneath the soil of South Asia, its unanswered questions still wait, waiting for us to listen.